Hey everybody, today we're going to work on solving inequalities. So yeah, let's get right to it. One thing I'd recommend is if you're writing this down, if you printed this up, is to rewrite the inequality below the number line, which is what I'm going to do each time. So negative 4 plus m is greater than negative 18. So we're going to get m by itself by getting rid of this constant, so we're going to add 4 to both sides. That definitely doesn't look like a 4. There we go. So m is greater than negative 14. So above 14, negative 14 rather, we're going to put an empty circle because it's not inclusive. It says m is greater than. So because m is greater than, we're going to go to the right because those numbers are larger. And that's it. So over here we have m minus m minus 20 is greater than negative 7. So we're going to add 20 to both sides. And we're going to get m is greater than 13. So above 13, again, we're going to have an open circle because it's non-inclusive. M is greater than, so we're going to the right. Okay. So here we're going to have 20x is less than negative 360. We're going to divide by our coefficient, which is 20. And we're going to have x is less than 0, negative 18. Don't reverse the direction of the inequality symbol because the number we divided everything by is a positive value. This sign doesn't matter in terms of changing a direction because that probably won't make sense if you don't know the rule. Most of us should know the rule by now, but if not, it's okay, I'll remind you. So x is less than negative 18. So negative 18 is right here. It's an open circle because it's not inclusive. X is less than, so we're going to go to the left. Okay. So negative 4 is greater than negative 13 plus p. We're going to add 13 to both sides. That's our constant. Negative 4 plus 13 is going to be 9. 9 is greater than p. So above 9, we're going to have an open circle because it's non-inclusive. It says 9 is greater than p, which means p is less than 9. So if p is less than 9, you go to the left. Okay. Here we go. Let's rewrite this one. So 187 is less than or equal to 7 parentheses 5m minus 3 minus 2. Okay, so we're going to distribute the 7. So 187 is less than or equal to 35m minus 21 minus 2. Combine these two together, and we're going to get 187 is less than or equal to 35m minus 23. Let's add 23. That's our constant. So let's get rid of it. So plus 23. And I believe that's going to be 210 is less than or equal to 35m. Let's divide both sides by 35. It's our coefficient. And I don't know my 35 tables. 210 divided by 35. That's going to be 6. So 6 is less than or equal to m, or m is greater than or equal to 6. So we're going to put a filled in circle now because it's inclusive, because we're equal to. And m is greater than it, so we're going to go to the right. There we go. Let's rewrite this. So we have 220 is less than or equal to negative 4 parentheses 1 minus 8x. Let's distribute that negative 4. So 220 is less than or equal to negative 4 plus 32x. We're going to add 4 to both sides. That's our constant. So 224 is less than or equal to 32x. Let's divide both sides by the coefficient. So 224 4 divided by 32, 7. So 7 is less than or equal to x, so x is greater than or equal to 7. So we're going to put a filled in circle because it's inclusive of 7. It's saying x is greater than, so we're going to the right. There we go. I'll zoom out so you guys can see that. Okay. Oh, these get spicy. There we go. This will be good. Alright, number 7. So let's rewrite this. We have negative 112 is less than or equal to negative 8n plus 7 plus 8. So we're going to distribute this negative 8. Okay, so negative 112 is less than or equal to negative 8n minus 56 plus 8. We're going to combine these like terms. So negative 112 is less than or equal to negative 8n minus 48. Yeah, minus 48. Then we're going to add 48 to both sides. That's our constant. I believe that's going to be 64, negative 64. Yeah, it's negative 64. And negative 8n. So now we're going to divide by negative 8 because that's our coefficient. Well, why did I do? I totally reversed the colors on that. Sorry. So because now this is important. So 64 divided by 8 is 8, and negative is negative, positive is positive 8. So we divide by a negative number here. I think this is the first time it's happened. It is. It's the first time it happened on this activity. So when you divide or multiply both sides of an inequality by a negative value, you have to change the direction of the inequality symbol. So this less than or equal to is actually going to become greater than or equal to. That's very important. That happened because we divided both sides by negative 8. Okay? That's very important. And that's why I recommend solving equations a certain way when it comes to variables on both sides. Same thing with inequalities. So this circle is going to be filled in above 8 because it's inclusive. And it says 8 is greater than, so n is less than, so we're going to go to the left. Okay. Let's look at number 8. So negative 245 is less than or equal to 7 parentheses 8p plus 5. We're going to distribute that 7. So negative 245 is less than or equal to 56p plus 35. We're going to get rid of our constant by subtracting 35 from both sides. And I believe that's going to be negative 280, I think that's right. 56p, we're going to divide both sides by 56p. Or sorry, by 56 rather, that's our coefficient. So negative 280 divided by 56, that's going to equal negative 5. Now, I did not divide by a negative, so you don't have to worry about changing the direction. I divided by a positive. It's negative 5. So this is going to be a filled-in circle of negative 5, which is right there, between negative 4 and negative 6. It's filled in because it's inclusive. It says negative 5 is less than, so p is greater than. So we're going right. Let's look at number 9. So negative 3 parentheses negative 8x plus 5 close parentheses is less than or equal to negative 40 minus x. We're going to distribute the negative 3. So 24x minus 15 is less than or equal to negative 40 minus x. So this is where I recommend moving the variable that has a smaller coefficient. And the reason is you avoid having to divide both sides by a negative, which means you avoid having to remember the rule I talked about for number 7. So it's an easier way to minimize the risk of making a mistake. So I'm going to add x because that's small. Negative 1x is smaller than 24x, so we're going to add x to both sides. This becomes 25x. So 25x minus 15 is less than or equal to negative 40. We're going to add 15 to both sides. That's our constant. So we have 25x is less than or equal to negative 25. We divide both sides by our coefficient, which is 25. So x is less than or equal to negative 1. There we go. Okay. And there percent people need to write it. Okay. So let's go ahead and rewrite number 10. We have 2 minus 6n is less than or equal to 2, 1 minus 8n. We're going to distribute that 2. So 2 minus 6n is less than or equal to 2 minus 16n. So we're going to move the variable to smaller coefficient, which in this case is negative 16. So we're going to move that to the other side. So plus 16n to both sides. We're going to use the inverse operation there. So 2, and then negative 6 plus 16 is going to be plus 10n, less than or equal to 2. Let's get rid of this constant. So we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. So we have 10n is less than or equal to 0. Divide both sides by 10. So n is less than or equal to 0. Okay. We're going to put that here. It's going to be a filled-in circle because it's inclusive. And n is less than, so we're going to the left. Okay. All right, last two. So we're going to distribute the 4. And we're going to distribute the negative 3. That is a negative 3. Don't forget that negative sign is attached to that 3. So 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 3n is plus 12n. Greater than or equal to 3. And negative 3 times negative 6n is going to be positive 18n. Be careful of your signs here, guys. Negative 3 times negative 1 is plus 3. Be very, very careful of your signs. That's where people make mistakes. Let's combine like terms here. So we have 24 plus 12n is greater than or equal to 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 18n. Now let's move the variable with the smaller coefficient. So we're going to subtract 12n from both sides. So we're going to have 24 is greater than or equal to 6 plus 6n. And now we're going to get rid of our constant, which is 6. So we have 18 is greater than or equal to 6n. Divide both sides by our coefficient, which is 6. And 3 is greater than or equal to n. Okay, so above 3 we're going to have a filled-in circle. And 3 is greater than n, so it means n is less than 3, so we're going that way. Okay. For this last one, we have to distribute the negative 4 and distribute the negative 4 as well. Okay. So negative 4 times negative 3x is going to be 12x. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8, greater than or equal to. Negative 4 times negative 2x is going to be positive 8x. And negative 4 times negative 7 is going to be plus 28. And don't forget this negative 6x. So let's combine some like terms here. We have 8x and negative 6x. So this stays the same over here. 12x plus 8 is greater than or equal to. 8x take away 6x is 2x plus 28. Now let's move the 2x because that's a smaller one. So subtract 2x, subtract 2x. This goes away. 12x take away 2x is 10x. Plus 8 is greater than or equal to 28. We're going to get rid of our constant, which is 8. So 10x is greater than or equal to 20. And divide by, oh, forgot the x, that's kind of important. Divide by our coefficient, which is 10. And x should be greater than or equal to 2. So it's going to be a filled-in circle because it's inclusive. And x is greater than, so we're going to the right. All right, so when you do these, a few things to remember. One, take your time. I went really quickly through all that just because I'm about to run out of time. I have to go to class soon. But take your time when you're doing these and show all of your steps. There's a lot of work here. So take your time. It's really, really easy to make mistakes. Specifically, I'll show you where people make mistakes. They typically make mistakes like here. They forget there's a negative sign here. And they don't multiply the second term by the negative. Or also, where else did I see that happen? Yeah, number 11. And just basically when you're multiplying, when you're distributing, make sure you pay attention to what you're distributing, okay? But I hope that was helpful, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, take it easy.